terrible weather today. It's raining, lots of warnings about wind, and it's cold. It might as well be snowing, honestly. And with that in mind, what did I read today? How about this first one? It seems like Amazon isn't getting a break in terms of trying to enter the drone delivery space, huh? This one says, Amazon forced to delay plans for British drone deliveries. As it says here, Amazon has been forced to delay plans to deliver parcels by drone to British households after foot-dragging on airspace regulation prevented it from launching the service. The retail giant had been planning to start UK drone flights to deliver packages in under an hour by the end of this year, but admitted on Friday that it had not secured clearance to fly the autonomous aircraft. The company said that while it was prepared to start operations, the Civil Aviation Authority had not yet set out rules allowing it to carry out deliveries. An Amazon spokesman said, "We are ready to make the drone delivery a reality for our customers in the UK. We have built a safe and reliable drone delivery services elsewhere in the world in close partnership with regulators and the communities we serve, and we are working to do the same in the UK. However, the Civil Aviation Authority is still developing the regulatory framework to support the type of operation that we launched in the United States. We will continue to work closely with the CAA as they develop the framework which can make commercial drone delivery a reality in the UK." Yeah, again, you would think, for example, with all the news before, this would be the company that would be considered the leader in drone delivery, but for whatever reason, other companies like Walmart and so forth in the US seem to have excelled past them. Either way, it will become a reality eventually, but it's kind of another example where I don't know how people could say it's regulations and stuff that innovated things like drone tech and so forth. If anything, it's hindering it in a lot of places. And this is one of those articles that got me to think again with the double standards, where initially when people were flying drones, let's just say near an animal, people would freak out about it, even if the animal has no distress or anything like that. Well, how about this situation where they're intentionally using drones to scare away things like grizzly bears? This one says, "Get away, grizzly, why scientists are chasing bears with drones." Wildlife experts in the US West have found small aircrafts are ideal for protecting humans and livestock from predators. The first time that Terry Vandenbos watched a bear run from a drone on a spring day 2 years ago, he was chasing the animal himself. After he saw the grizzly cross a road near his property, the Montana rancher hopped on his all-terrain vehicle planning to scare it away from his cattle if needed. But the bear began sprinting away when he was still far from it, looking over its shoulder as it ran, and Vandenbos looked up too. Overhead, a small drone was following the bear, its 4 propellers emitting a high-pitched whine as it sent the animal towards a nearby lake, saying, "I don't think I need to be here." Vandenbos remembers thinking. He drove back home. The bear never touched his cows. On the other end of that drone was Wesley Sarmento, a grizzly bear management specialist from Montana's Department of Fish, Wildlife and Parks, who has spent the last 6 years testing different non-lethal methods for scaring bears away from human habitation, a practice commonly referred to as hazing. In research forthcoming in the journal Frontiers of Conservation Science, Sarmento, a PhD student at the University of Montana, shows that aerial drones outperform all other hazing methods tested in his experiments. They provide a way to move grizzly bears away from humans that is safe for humans and animals, saying, quote, "The drones become a tool where I can't see doing the job without it now," Sarmento said. "It's just that handy." So what would you think the reaction here should be? I mean, in general, it's a tool. It's kind of like a situation where people do use drone birds per se to scare away birds around airports and all that, versus doing it in other ways that may be more cumbersome. But again, just in terms of that notion how people say never use it around animals and so forth, I think this is just another example of it depends on what you're using and how, correct? Different scenarios require different tools, and it's not the same thing in terms of how people use it in many ways. You can't just have this blanket statement saying never fly near an animal and all that. Although there was a study before where bears that got used to it, for example, like the drones, they just considered it like, yeah, I'm just gonna ignore you. And the other news that seemed to be dominating today has seemed like there was a lot of news about the boxing match on Netflix between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. So obviously the thing about this was Mike Tyson is 58 years old and Jake Paul is 27, and it kind of ended up how I would have expected anyways. if Mike Tyson didn't knock him out within the first round or something like that, then obviously in many ways the younger person will just outlast him endurance wise. And even like the stats for the actual match itself, I mean, look at that. The Jake Paul threw about what, 278 punches to Tyson's 97. He landed 78 and Tyson landed 18. I mean, that's kind of bad, but I guess either way, this was more for the novelty, the entertainment aspect per se of, wow, like a former champion and all that. But I don't know if this was a good match anyways, in terms of the age difference and all that. But apparently too, this broke all records. It made the Netflix site crash. People were getting really blurry video just because there was so much demand and they can't keep up with the bandwidth, which makes you think too whether or not they could get into live sports, which is what they wanted to do apparently anyways. And the other thing about entertainment, which was kind of fascinating, as you know, a lot more people and companies are using AI generated videos in order to improve their workflow, cut costs. And in this case, apparently Coca Cola released a Christmas advertisement of sort. Now apparently they do this every year, but for this one there were a lot of people who were outraged over it because it was entirely AI generated. All the people, the vehicles that you see, it was completely fake, I guess you could say. And with that, a lot of people are saying that's not right, replacing real people and all that. Although I would wonder, for the regular average person, even if you use the product or you don't, do you care personally? Like, it's a quote commercial. Do you care with the fact that there's not real people in there or vehicles and all that? Or would you rather have something real when it comes to things like commercials and all that? I would have thought, currently anyways, in terms of production companies using things like AI video, it would be more for the little things. For example, if you want to have some kind of object placed in a room, then why spend tens of thousands of dollars or whatever creating this glamorous set when you could have this AI generate something that looks, for example, super realistic and all that? Or at the same time, if you just need to fix, for example, some kind of color, or oh, if that object was in the way so you want to get rid of it, that's what I would have imagined most people would have used it overall. Otherwise, everything becomes like a Disney CG movie, correct? That's what I would think anyways. But what would you think about this? Again, do you actually care if a company uses AI generated video for everything in this manner? Okay, no flying today, huh? Good opportunity anyways, I guess, to test out all that time lapse and so forth. When you guys made a comment yesterday where that transition with the moon and stuff, you kind of enjoyed. It's kind of the plan in the future. Once I get everything all worked out, I'm testing out the time lapse with the things such as shutter speed and intervals, getting the hang of it, trying to find the best settings and so forth. A learning experience. Hey, see you guys later.